Well, hello. David Taub here, coming to you from nextlevelguitar.com, and I want to talk to you about another batch of chords that you want to be familiar with and that you're probably seeing in the various sheet music and transcriptions that you've been looking at, perhaps. And these are, a common term for these chords are called slash chords. And I'm going to flash them on the screen so you could see the nomenclature or what they look like. But basically, whenever you see a chord name like a C and then a slash and then a G underneath it, where you see that slash mark, that is called the slash chord. And that confuses a lot of people, and I want to clear that up. It's basically pretty simple. All it is it's a chord name followed by the low bass note. So you're playing a chord, which is the first letter, then there's the slash, and then the second letter is the low note that you're going to play on top of the chord. So for instance, C/G is read C over G. So basically what you're going to do, and I'm going to wheel in close a second and show you a bunch of the real common ones, but basically what you're going to play is you're going to play a C major chord, okay? And then if it's C/G, you're going to put a G in the bass. So what I do is I grab with my pinky the G note on the low E string, 3rd fret. You hear that extra little? It gives the chord a little bit more bite, C over G. Some people will play it like this with their 3rd finger on the low G. And I'll show you both of those fingerings when I wheel in close. Now G is in that chord. A C major chord is made of the notes C, E, and G, and then they just repeat it in this open position. Another C and another E, a root 3rd and 5th. So you're adding a low G on top of that, and you get C over G. Another real common slash chord is D over F sharp. And that chord is you play a D chord, and then the way I grab the F sharp is with my thumb. I press down, I kind of bring my wrist up a little bit. You got to keep your wrist down for the most part, like we talked about in technique lessons, but you know, sometimes with guitar you got to kind of bend the rules a little bit to get the job done. So I come up over the top, kind of like I was muting when I would be muting those 2 low strings and play my regular D, but now I'm going to add the low F sharp note, and you get that D over F sharp. You get a little bit more because you get that low F sharp note in there, a little bit more bassier tone. Another common one would be like A minor over G. So you play an A minor chord, A minor / G, and then the G you grab again with your pinky on the low E string, 3rd fret. You get that chord. So it adds a lot of hip notes, and the slash chords are kind of important. Now, early on, if you're having problems grabbing the low bass note, just play the first part of the chord. Just play what's on, you know, like the D or the C. Don't worry about the slash and then the low bass note. But eventually you're going to want to play those because it does add another element of interest, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to wheel in close in a second, and I'm going to show you these chords up close. And I'm also going to feature some of them in the chord library so you can get a in-depth study on all the fingerings where we spend a minute or two on the chord. So remember, slash chords, when you see that slash, it's always read blank over blank, C over G. And it's a C major chord, G in the bass. Sometimes you might see something like, oh, I don't know, D sus4 over F sharp. Don't let that intimidate you. All it is a D suspended 4th chord with an F sharp in the bass. Okay? So I'm going to wheel up close now and show you some of these. Tight shot of the neck to show you some of these slash chords up close and personal. Okay? The first one I talked about was a C/G or C over G. So you just play your C major chord, like you all know, and then grab the G note right here, 3rd fret, low E string. Now I grab it with my pinky. See that? And you play all 6 strings and you get that sound. Some people like to finger that chord like this. Instead they grab the G with their 3rd finger and they'll play it like that. Same chord, just a different way of fingering it. C over G. C with a G in the bass. C over G. Another common one, like I told you before, was that D over F sharp. Here's my D major chord, and then with my thumb grab the 2nd fret on the low E string, and you get that nice D over F sharp. I'm muting the A string, by the way. You're not playing it, so my thumb is grabbing the low E but muting the A. Another common one, A minor grab an A minor chord, right? That's a good look at it, and then grab the G note with your pinky, 3rd fret low E string. Okay. Another common one is a D sus4. So play a D chord, play the sus4 with your pinky, the high G, and then add the F sharp in the bass. D sus4 over F sharp. Let's see. Another one would be kind of like a G over F sharp. It's kind of like a G chord, but you move from the G with your 3rd finger to the F sharp, 2nd fret. I'm still leaving my 3rd and 4th fingers down, and just mute the A string. You might see that chord. These are all common slash chords where you have a note, a chord, the slash, and then the low bass note underneath. So whenever you see that, don't get intimidated. All you want to do is just play the chord like you know it, and then find the low note and add the low note with one of your other fingers. Piece of cake. And if you use the capo, and you don't let that intimidate you either, because just the capo is just moving the nut. You know, you're still going to play the fingering you know for the chord, and then just grab the low bass note. And that's it. That's all there is to slash chords, okay? So add those to your practice regimen. Start playing those if you see those in songs. And I will see you in the next lesson. Take care and rock on.